This week I chose to read The Boy on the Porch. It was written by Sharon Creech in 2013. It is published by HarperCollins Children's Books. And it is 151 pages, and it won the William Allen White Award in 2016. This book is a chapter book, and it's good for children who are in grades about 3 to 6. So approximately ages 8 to 12. This book has 151 pages, and I classified its genre as historical fiction because there were some clues that led me to infer its timeline. The use of the general store and bartering for goods in the general store. There's a sheriff department with notes left on it in a small town where people just post things on a bulletin board. And there's something in particular in which one of the main characters leaves a wash basin in a room so that someone can clean themselves. So that led me to infer that this was possibly a historical fiction novel. There are no illustrations in this book. It is just words. So there is no illustrator. This story has 3 main characters: Marta, John, and a child whose name is Jacob. Marta and John begin the story, and they found a little boy on a porch with no note and no idea where he came from. They did find a note they found him on a porch, no idea where he came from. They eventually find a note with him that basically says, take good care of Jacob. He's a good boy. We'll return when I can. This note is all the information they have about this boy. From this, they learned his name is Jacob, and that someone is eventually going to come back for him. So they slowly start to wait for someone. A couple of hours turns into a day, and a day, turns into a week, and a week turns in, and it just keeps getting longer. And these people don't come to pick up their child, and so John and Marta begin to fall in love and develop into an unlikely family with this little boy who just showed up on their porch named Jacob. One important thing to mention about Jacob is that he's mute. At first, John and Marta think he's shy. Turns out he is actually mute and he cannot talk. So Jacob is not much help in determining where he came from and any information about it. However, where Jacob cannot talk, he does have some very interesting qualities. He turns out to be excellent at art. He's always tapping on things. He's magnificent at drawing. He picks up and learns the drums and the guitar and musical instruments really quickly. And these endearing qualities help John and Marta to love him. And John and Marta eventually want to adopt him. But unfortunately, as they start to think about this, Jacob's family shows up and take him away. John and Marta are left feeling empty and eventually get into become foster parents, which leads them into a bigger purpose where they end up fostering children for a long time. And one day, a mysterious package shows up, and a couple of weeks later, Jacob, now an adult or late teen, a young adult, shows up asleep on their porch, kind of going full circle. Why do I think this book is good for children? I think this book is good for children because it shows and it illustrates that love and a home can be found anywhere. It can be found anywhere, even in the most unlikely of places. This book also is great at depicting that being different and our own things that make us unique are okay, and that there are those qualities that people will love those qualities about us. Jacob couldn't talk, but he still found love from someone, and he had these awesome qualities that made him amazing, even if it wasn't talking. So being different and having these unique qualities are okay, and that you'll find love and caring about that regardless. I identify with this because I have an autistic child, and I identify with the feeling of having to protect and shelter and care for my child who is a little different than most children. Also, I understand John and Marta's big loving heart. Activities, I thought that at the end of this we have a big period of time where we don't know what happened to Jacob. Children and students could infer based off of what information is given to us what happened to Jacob, and they could create their own stories for what happened to Jacob and possibly add illustrations if they have time.